This is the SpaceX EVA suit. When it was first revealed back in 2020, it completely stunned the global space community. It wasn't just another bulky, traditional space suit. No, this thing looked like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Its sleek, minimalistic design stood out immediately, looking like it belonged more on a movie set than inside a spacecraft. But make no mistake, it wasn't just about looks. It was incredibly lightweight, carefully engineered with advanced materials, and most importantly, built with astronaut safety at its core. Fast forward to 2025, and now we have a brand new player entering the stage, Blue Origin's latest spacesuit. But instead of applause for its engineering, it's turning heads for another reason entirely. Critics are saying it looks more like one of Elvis Presley's glitzy stage outfits than something designed for space. It may be a breakthrough in fashion, sure, but in the world of space exploration where safety and function are everything, that's not exactly a compliment. So the question is, are we truly witnessing the next evolution of astronaut gear? Or has space travel taken a turn toward becoming a futuristic fashion show? Let's unpack all of that right here on today's episode of TechMap. Let's roll things back to July 20, 2021, at Launch Site 1 in West Texas. That date marked a major moment for Blue Origin, when their new Shepard suborbital capsule successfully carried passengers into space for the very first time. On board were Jeff Bezos, his brother Mark Bezos, aviation pioneer Wally Funk, and 18-year-old Oliver Damon. That mission, called NS-16, wasn't just a demonstration, it was a declaration. Blue Origin was officially stepping into a new domain, space tourism. Since then, the company has flown 58 people past the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space. But here's the catch. Almost all of those passengers were extremely wealthy. Entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, tech investors, CEOs, and even celebrities. Basically, people who could afford to pay tens of millions of dollars for a quick 11-minute trip to the edge of space. From launch to landing, these flights are over in a flash, with only about 4 minutes of actual weightlessness. That short duration doesn't leave any real time for science, research, or exploration. Instead, what we're seeing looks more like a high-priced luxury experience than a traditional space mission. Of course, not everyone on these missions agrees with that view. Some passengers have pushed back hard against the idea that New Shepard is just a ride. In fact, one passenger from a recent mission, visibly frustrated, said, "Please don't call it a ride. That is not a freaking ride. Whenever a man goes up, you've never said to an astronaut, 'Boy, what a ride.' You know, we duplicated the same trajectory that Alan Shepard did back in the day. Pretty much no one called that a ride. It was a flight. It was a journey." Those were the words of Gayle King, co-host of CBS Mornings and one of the 6 female passengers on the controversial NS-31 mission. And to be fair, there's a point to be made. That flight marked the first time since Valentina Tereshkova's solo journey in 1963 that an all-female crew flew to space. That's a powerful milestone in and of itself. On its website, Blue Origin refers to these passengers as an astronaut crew, a title typically reserved for trained professionals who play a role in advancing human spaceflight. The company praised Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' fiancée and one of the passengers, for leading the team and inspiring future generations by offering new perspectives on Earth. But then you look at the spacesuits. Instead of showcasing new engineering features, these suits made headlines for their appearance. Their design, more reminiscent of high-end fashion runways than technical gear, left many in the space community puzzled. Sure, they're made in a striking blue color, and sure, every passenger had their own tailored version. But these weren't the same suits used in previous flights. For the NS-31 mission, the outfits were redesigned by the fashion brand Mott's, under designers Fernando Garcia and Laura Kim, in collaboration with Lauren Sanchez herself. The goal? To make them sleeker, more flattering, and modern-looking. The material used was a stretch neoprene. Flame-resistant, yes, but clearly chosen with style in mind. They dropped features like shoulder pads and bulk, aiming for something that looked more futuristic and less like the typical NASA uniform. And the end result? A hybrid look that people immediately compared to Star Trek uniforms on the top and Elvis Presley's Vegas jumpsuits on the bottom. This shift toward a more fashion-forward image raises real questions. Are these missions serious space endeavors, or are they just luxury photo ops with a galactic twist? While the new suits may be visually striking, they clearly prioritize visual appeal over utility. That's a stark contrast to the approach taken by SpaceX. Their suit, known as the Starman suit, has a sleek design too, yes, but it still feels serious. It still feels like something an astronaut would actually wear. SpaceX has made safety, functionality, and spacecraft integration their top priorities. These aren't just costumes, they're life-saving tools built for real emergencies. SpaceX develops its suits in-house, at their headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Each one is custom-tailored to fit the astronaut perfectly, ensuring maximum comfort and minimum distraction during high-stress space missions. But they're more than just fitted, they're functional. These suits are designed to protect astronauts not only during launch and re-entry but also in case of cabin depressurization or other emergency scenarios. They're lined with advanced materials like Kevlar and Nomex for fire resistance and include a helmet with a built-in visor and communications system. Most importantly, they're fully integrated with the spacecraft. That means the suits connect directly to the capsule's life support systems, enabling real-time monitoring and environmental control. That level of detail shows just how serious SpaceX is about its missions. In contrast, Blue Origin's suits, especially the NS-31 redesigns, lack almost all of those features. There's no evidence of a built-in life support system, no integration with spacecraft systems, and no signs that they'd offer much help in an emergency. They're simply not built for that kind of mission. And that's probably intentional. Jeff Bezos himself stated back in 2021 that the New Shepard capsule is fully pressurized, so the suits aren't technically required for safety. That means Blue Origin can afford to think of them more like uniforms and less like equipment. But still, when you're calling your passengers astronauts and marketing your flights as groundbreaking missions, the least you could do is dress the part, or better yet, build suits that reflect the reality of space travel, not just a photo-friendly fantasy. These sleek suits even come with data ports and gloves that work with touchscreens, allowing astronauts to interact directly with the controls of the Crew Dragon capsule. Every suit connects to the capsule using just one umbilical port located on the astronaut's thigh, which drastically simplifies the setup process. It's plug-and-play efficiency taken to a whole new level. Gone are the days of complicated hookups and bulky hardware. Instead, astronauts can focus on their mission instead of fumbling with cables. That single connection handles power, air, and data, all in one. It's just another example of SpaceX streamlining technology for space. Now when it comes to comfort, SpaceX really raises the bar. Astronauts who've worn the suits rave about how lightweight and flexible they feel. The design is tailored to each person's body, making it far more comfortable even in microgravity. Compared to older NASA suits, these are a dream, easier to put on, easier to move around in, and far less claustrophobic. Long space missions demand comfort, and SpaceX took that seriously. They removed the bulk, reduced the stress points, and made sure these suits don't become a burden over time. It's comfort engineered for the most extreme environments imaginable. In contrast, Blue Origin's NS-31 suit might look flashy and inclusive, but it lacks core functionality required for space missions. It's clear that it was made more for the press photos than for actual performance. That's not to say it doesn't have value, it's a symbolic step, but when you're facing the harsh realities of space, symbolism isn't enough. You need hardware that delivers. SpaceX's suit is both a technological and ergonomic triumph. It's not just designed for photo ops, it's designed for survival, precision, and usability. So if you had to choose between fashion and function, which suit would you take to space? So that brings us to the real question. If given the choice between style without substance or sleek efficiency that saves lives, what would you wear into the unknown? Let us know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth looks at the cutting-edge tech shaping our future in space. And now, let's dive deeper into the latest upgrade from SpaceX, something that could redefine how we experience outer space, their brand new EVA suit. When SpaceX first introduced its EVA suit, nicknamed Starman, during the historic Demo 2 mission in 2020, it marked a bold shift in how spacewear was viewed. That suit was designed specifically for use inside the Dragon spacecraft, mainly during launch and re-entry. It wasn't made for spacewalks or exposure to the vacuum of space. But SpaceX has evolved quickly. Just a few years later, in May, they unveiled a groundbreaking new EVA suit. This suit isn't just a cosmetic upgrade. It's built for full-on spacewalks and tough extravehicular activity. And it's making headlines for all the right reasons. What makes this EVA suit different? Well, for starters, it's been designed specifically for the Polaris Dawn mission, the first-ever private spacewalk. Though it resembles the EVA suit in appearance, it's much more advanced under the surface. It includes upgraded materials and innovative joint mechanisms that allow astronauts to move more freely in zero gravity. Traditional suits often restrict motion, especially at the shoulders and knees, but SpaceX worked to overcome that. They've given astronauts a better range of motion, which could be vital not only for orbit missions but for future walks on the surface of the Moon or even Mars. Chris Trigg, the manager of SpaceX's Spacesuit team, revealed that the company put a huge amount of effort into improving the suit's thermal management. Space is unforgiving, not just cold but also scorching hot depending on your location. The EVA suit incorporates a completely new layer specifically designed to regulate temperature, keeping astronauts comfortable during long walks outside the spacecraft. It's not just about survival, it's about maintaining focus, efficiency, and well-being throughout the mission. Thermal comfort might seem like a small detail, but it's one that affects every moment an astronaut is out there. Trigg also explained that, while the suit is soft and flexible in its unpressurized state, it becomes rigid once inflated. This design balances the need for protection with the need for mobility. Traditional NASA suits tend to stiffen dramatically when pressurized, turning astronauts into walking balloons. SpaceX's version is different. It has joints engineered to maintain flexibility even when the suit is pressurized. This dramatically reduces fatigue during long extravehicular tasks. The goal wasn't just to make the suit functional, it was to make it something astronauts wouldn't dread wearing for hours at a time. Elon Musk himself described how tricky it is to maintain movement in a suit that has to hold pressure. He compared it to being trapped inside an inflated balloon, where any attempt to move is met with resistance. Developing a suit that can flex and bend while maintaining life-saving pressure levels is no small feat. It requires precision engineering, material science, and deep knowledge of human physiology. That's what makes the EVA suit so impressive. It's not a tweak of existing designs, it's a fresh take built from the ground up for the demands of a new space age. NASA's EMU suits were built for short walks around the International Space Station, and they've served their purpose well. But those suits were never intended for long-duration, physically demanding missions beyond Earth orbit. SpaceX is thinking far ahead, toward missions that may last months, maybe even years. They're designing with Mars in mind, and that means every detail matters. Comfort, movement, thermal protection, and pressure balance. Each element of the EVA suit reflects that long-term vision. It's a future-focused approach that puts astronaut well-being front and center, even on the harshest terrain imaginable. The importance of proper pressurization can't be overstated. Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov learned this the hard way. During the first-ever spacewalk, his suit inflated so much that he couldn't re-enter the airlock. He had to manually bleed out pressure just to squeeze back inside, a terrifying ordeal. SpaceX wants to make sure no astronaut ever faces that situation again. Their EVA suit avoids overinflation and maintains consistent pressure through advanced regulation systems. Its safety built into every fiber of the design, tested over and over again to ensure reliability in extreme environments. Another fascinating detail, SpaceX's EVA suit borrows tech from other company projects. Thermal materials originally designed for the Falcon rocket and Dragon capsule have been repurposed for use in the boots and torso areas of the suit. It's a great example of cross-project innovation. Why reinvent the wheel when you've already developed high-performance materials for space-grade hardware? The helmet even includes a new heads-up display showing real-time data: temperature, humidity, suit pressure, and mission duration. It's like a sci-fi interface but real and functional. Everything an astronaut needs is right in front of them. Polaris Dawn mission commander Jared Isaacman shared that while the EVA suit may look similar to its IVA predecessor, its internal differences are vast. He explained that hundreds of hours of material testing went into perfecting the layers, joints, and seals. And he made one thing clear: this is just the beginning. The suit we're seeing now is the first generation. The best is yet to come. Elon Musk echoed that sentiment, stating that the next-gen EVA suits will be even more advanced. It's a continuous evolution. Every mission teaches something new. Veteran astronaut Chris Hadfield, who walked in space decades ago, praised the new suit after taking a close look. He recalled how the suits he wore were designed in the 1960s and built in the 1980s. They were heavy, bulky, and rigid. SpaceX, in contrast, used the latest manufacturing techniques and a design-first mindset from day one. The result? A suit that is not only lighter but smarter, tailored to minimize the complexity and maximize the astronaut's experience. Hadfield emphasized how much easier it is to get in and out of these suits. That alone is a huge leap forward. Anna Menon, a mission specialist on Polaris, was deeply impressed by the safety features. She expressed pride in wearing a suit that's breaking barriers for commercial spacewalks. According to her, this isn't just a cool gadget, it's a vital piece of life support tech that could protect humans as we step onto Mars. She gave a huge shout-out to the SpaceX team for creating something truly revolutionary. Tim Peake, Britain's last astronaut in space, noted that mobility, especially in the fingertips, is crucial and difficult to achieve. Yet SpaceX seems to have cracked that problem. Peake observed that the elbow mobility alone looked like a major improvement. In his words, "This is a game changer." And honestly, that's exactly what these suits represent. They're not just a new piece of hardware, they're a transformation in how we think about life in space. Where NASA suits once prioritized only survival, SpaceX's designs focus on sustainability and endurance. This new generation of suits makes life in space more natural, less exhausting, and much safer. They've stripped away the limitations of the past and made room for the future. Old NASA suits were often described with 3 words: heavy, bulky, and hot. The discomfort astronauts felt wasn't just because of the materials, it was the nature of the pressurization. Once the suit inflated, it resisted every movement like a spring. Bending an arm or turning a wrist became a struggle. Every step you took, you had to fight your own suit. Now imagine doing that for 5 or 6 hours straight. It was exhausting. SpaceX aims to eliminate that problem with smarter materials and mechanical joints. The astronaut doesn't have to wrestle the suit anymore, they can just move,